And now, for the man himself, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I was actually a little worried out there in the audience because I was looking and I was like, oh my God, that podium's gonna be so dark. I won't be able to see anything that I wrote. So I'm just gonna go off script. No, actually the hunters, you were wearing this earlier. You were wearing this thing?
Oh yeah, I was wearing it, but it's too itchy.
Okay, it's too itchy, okay, good. And I just wanted to set the record straight. That is spooky. Okay, I see, I was on a candle, sorry. I was on a decoration. Okay, so I just want to set the record straight because I talked to both of these people today. Let's see, I talked to both of these people today. First, I talked to Ruth, because her speech was initially going last. And I just kind of clarified something about when she had her moment where she broke down. I said, you know why I laughed? It's because you were putting forth that effort, you were being Ruth. And that's why you were a drum major. And that was one of the qualities that I loved about you. Because you were taking on more than you should have, and you were giving it your all. That touched me. So I expressed that as a means of laughing at you, which is a normal behavior. And then, of course, I talked to David Tapp, and then David Tapp goes, yes, Brown, you thought my speech was the best. That's why you put it last. And then I said, don't get the big head, David. And then actually I talked to Ruth. I said, Ruth, I put his speech last because your speech was like heartfelt, it was emotional, and David's was emotional, but there was a little bit of orneriness in there. So I'm gonna add a little bit of orneriness to a clarification that, no, David, your speech was not better than Ruth's. It was just different. Just like the things that I said about you when I first met you in 7th grade, and we were at the University of Iowa. We had just done a rehearsal with the band director at the University of Iowa. This is a big school, famous band directors, and David is on the percussion cabinet, riding it like a donkey, having people push him around the band room, which is bad enough, but he's doing it in front of the band director. Now, you guys have probably had those moments where your kids have embarrassed you. I'm sure you have. That's normal. And that was one of those moments. So, yes, my first introduction to David, where I really knew who he was, constituted me yelling at him. Now, the next moment that I remember was we were preparing for a Cardinal performance. We were playing God Bless America. I had no drummers that were there that day. And usually, sorry, middle school guys, when you show up, I don't really constitute you as a drummer just yet. And then there was this kid playing the snare drum, and I did not know him. And I'm like, and it was good. And I'm like, who in that? Lo and behold, it was the Lone Ranger from a year before. And that's been our relationship. Extreme compliments, extreme anger. And then just today, Tab goes, Brown, why are we playing so much music? Why do we have like 15, 20 pieces, and we're getting as many pieces out as we can? You know, you go to the buffet, I want to see some food on the buffet. And then, basically, I just made fun of his haircut. I said, it looks like somebody cut around a bowl on your head, David. And that was my answer. And that was good enough for him, because then he just walked away. And yes, Miss Brown, I'm going off script. She told me earlier today that's one of her greatest fears, that I will go off script. And I am. Now, there are a couple things that I want to acknowledge, and I'm sorry. I've tried this in the past and inevitably left people out in some capacity, but I want to thank some people and thank some things, and also thank everybody that has contributed to the program, and to the band program, and to what we do, and for tonight. So from the decorations, and also to Con. If you guys notice, there are little bones down along here, and each of the bones, she made a chain with them, and just the other day, I overstepped my bounds, and I said, okay, you know, she's doing the decorations, she's got her little deputies helping her, and I said, okay, then you guys have little items that has everybody's names on it. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't do that. So today they were frantically writing everybody's names on one of these bones. So you guys make sure you get a bone tonight as you leave. And then all the deputies that helped her, they in here after school today, during TAP today, Brindley and Peters put together the slideshow, which I caught just a little bit of it. It's fabulous. You guys are going to like it. Brindley and Graham doing the program together, tag teaming the program, and it's amazing. And also, which is kind of fun, because Dan Brindley, Grace's dad, had done the program when he was a student here at Melville. So that's kind of a fun tidbit of information. The program you guys are going to see, it's good. The kids have done this. They've done this on their own. The decorations, the speaking parts, and you have a good program to come. Also to thank our resident videographer back there who makes the greatest videos of the band. Post them. They're excellent to watch. I love studying them. And Mike Keeney always doing a good job for us back there. This is a weird band banquet. So if some of you guys are asking, how come we're here? I said, well, I want a band banquet. If we were doing it properly, following the school rules, and had food like a normal, there would have been many different restrictions, assigned seating, etc., etc. And I just didn't want to have those exceptions. So we changed the time a little bit, had the same program, the same feel of the band banquet, we just did it at home without food. So hopefully you guys were able to eat before you came. If you have not, it's always good. Ms. Heitman and there were some other parents together too, and I'm sorry, I don't know who all they were, who prepared a little snack for you guys as you go, since we're not allowed to have food in the cafeteria, a cupcake and some water, and there's some goodies out there. So you guys please take one as you all depart tonight. So going through a few other things. First off, Miss Fiasco is over here in the corner. It's always, it makes my heart smile when we have those kids that graduate and come back and do things back in the program and do things with us. It always makes me happy. Chris Cooper is our drum guy. He's been working with us. Is this your fourth year, Coop? 4.5, yeah, I got you. I know what the half is. And right away when he came in, made an awesome impact and has dedicated and given so much for the kids. And in fact, the drum line at Melville is infamous because when the teachers basically want to veg out at the end of the school day, the drum line is always practicing. And I think the teachers have just stopped complaining because I'm just not going to let them stop. So I think I agreed that I would let the drum line move out into the field, and then I just told them to stay there. Also, my wife, who is, I always like to say that she's the brains of the program, she's the heart of the program, the soul of the program. We never break away from the program, and she always helped guide us. I know some of the kids really loved it yesterday during the parade marching because she yelled at me. because I started the band way too soon. And we did not let the kids get set. So I am sorry for that. And yes, we are a normal husband and wife. We do argue, and we argue about bands sometimes. However, the one good positive thing about COVID, and I'm gonna say this all day long, this has done amazing things for our marriage. So we can become much closer. We have spent more time together than ever. It's been an amazing thing. And I told her for the next pandemic, I'm there for you. So I'm with you. So don't worry. You don't have to go far. So there have been a lot of things that have evolved through the program and evolved through the program for years. And probably one of the best things that we could have done for the program 11 years ago is when we hired Mr. Kramer. And I'm so proud of Mr. Kramer's work with us. I'm so proud of him giving what he's given for us. And I'm so proud of everything that he does for us. And you can hear this within the kids' voices and their speeches, because they don't have to include him. And they do, because he has made an impact and has sacrificed of himself for the betterment of your kids and the program. So I'm always appreciative of him and always love the work that he does here. And it just makes me happy. So I'm gonna start out with a couple of stories. And these are stories of past marching band experiences, which I think is kind of fitting because we all have marching band stories. But I'm gonna tell a couple stories and I'm gonna clarify a couple things because somebody said earlier that I said this, and I totally did. I said judges were stupid, and I'm gonna clarify that a little later. So we were at a marching band contest. I was a junior in high school here. I was a junior in high school, and the band had worked, and we were going to a marching band contest. Our first marching band contest ever. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like this. And we went. We didn't know what to expect. The band director who was there, Mr. Kennison, didn't really prepare us on what to do. So I didn't really know the whole process. And I was a drum major. It was me, and there were two other girls who were drum majors. I called them the Chicks. So it was me and the Chicks. That was our little code name, our little term of endearment. And wonderful people. I still talk to them now. They're wonderful people. But we took on this adventure. And I remember we were leaving the bus. You guys know this. You've done this, 5-6 times this year. Even more. We leave the bus. And we come, and at Alton, they had this little track. It was a cinder track. You guys who are old, you remember cinder tracks. They were horrible to walk on, especially down a hill. You'd slip, and we were all kind of slipping down the hill a little bit. And then we get to this field at Alton. And in the olden days, they used to have what's called a crown on the field. If you guys remember those. And it's basically a field shaped like this. When you stand in the end zone, that's what you see. And at Alton, I remember standing on the sideline, and I could not see the drum major on the other side. That's how massive this crown is. So we get down there, we're walking down, coming down the track, and I was the drum major. I was left to my own devices to make my own decisions. And I saw the band on the field. They were leaving the field. And I'm like, oh my God, we need to get over there right now. So, what does any drum major, smart drum major, asserting his leadership does? He makes the band run. So the entire band, we were coming down slow, kind of like we were like the bride in a wedding. We were coming down slow, and I'm like, oh my God, that band left. So I was like, run! Now! And everybody ran. And then there was a sand trap for the track team. And I was like, we don't have time to go around the sand, run through the sand. So if you guys ever run on a beach, it's not fun. So there were kids falling down. And it looked like something out of the Keystone Cops as we were running over there. And then we get there, and I'm like, oh my God, the other band's gone. So I hurry them up. I'm yelling at them, let's go. We gotta go. So we get onto the field, and there's a whole ritual. There's a whole process. And I didn't know the process. And there was a judge looking at me, staring at me like this. And I remember looking at him, because it's kind of weird. When you're out there doing your thing, and there's some guy out there looking at you like this. You're like, what are you looking at, man? So I just went, hey, well, I'll just start the band. And I messed up the entire time. You all have been to marching contest. You all know the timing. Judges, are you ready? Drum majors, Melville High School, is your band ready? I messed that whole thing up. I remember starting that. When he asked, is your band ready? I started the band. So that's where we had come. And this past weeks, I've been enjoying showing some of the kids, some of our outstanding players, some videos from their early days playing Sawmill Creek as a beginner. And sometimes it's a beautiful thing just to know and think about where you come from and where things have evolved and where people are. One of the other things that I remember, and you guys who have helped us in any capacity, chaperone, worked bingo, in any capacity, and anything that you've done, thank you. And I encourage all of y'all to come behind the scenes, come chaperone us. There's a whole level of things that happen that you miss. Now, you're in the stands, you get to see the band march on, you see them march on. But the real magic and the real fun is all the things that happen before we enter the field. And then all the things that happen after. That's the fun part. There was one contest. It was at Washington. And we arrived, we had the band in the warm-up spot, and I went down to do something. I think I went to the bathroom. I don't remember exactly. So I left for a bit. The marching band was warming up, and then I came back, and I just had a weird feeling. And I turned to Miss Brown, I go, what's going on? And she goes, this is terrible. She goes, this is awful. So you're gonna have to do something. And I'm like, what? I was going to the bathroom. She goes, first off, the clarinets are mad at the low brass because they had boyfriend and girlfriend that broke up. And then one of the drum majors was mad at somebody else because he took a side in the ordeal. And then the percussion, there were a boyfriend and girlfriend fighting over there. This was mass chaos. I mean, this looked like something on the Jerry Springer show. That I walked up and I'm like, what in the world? And this is literally 5 minutes before we're gonna take the field. So what do I do? Like any good strategic band director with years of experience and years of strategy and things behind you, what do you think I did? I screamed at them massively for darn near 2 minutes. Something happened. It all stopped. And it stopped because I ran out of time and we had to go down to the field. And the magical thing is, the kids marched amazing. It was great. I'm like, oh my God, we need to have more breakups right before. We need to do some of this. All right, I'm gonna plant some breakups here. You get a girlfriend and then break up with her on the day of the contest. And then we come down to the trailer afterwards, and the drummer and the clarinet player who are already having issues, they sealed it. They broke up, for sure. And then the drummer goes over to our trailer and starts banging his head on the trailer. And he starts bleeding profusely. And of course, what do you say to that? Don't bang your head. No, I'm like, look here, buddy. If you're gonna bang your head on a trailer, I'm more concerned about the trailer at this point. If a real man would go bang his head on the bricks to show your love. True story, I said this. Luckily, there was no dent in the trailer. I mean, if you're gonna do that, I mean, seriously, you know. Anyway, so those are some of the things, and you guys who say, you know, I think I'd like to chaperone, please do. There is always weird things that happen that become unsaid and become a memory somewhere. And I have countless of them. Now, in terms of my comment, judges being stupid, you guys don't get to see what happens behind the scenes. You know, they'll tell you, oh, these guys are experts. They're not experts. They're guys that just had nothing to do on a Saturday. They had no band to work with, because if they were really that good, somebody would have hired them to work with their band. So they were basically the unemployed guy. And what do you do with the low-hanging fruit? You let it rise. Just, you know what they say about poop, right? It seeks its level. So that's what an average judge is. Now, are there people that are amazing? Yes. We didn't get any of that this year. We got the low-hanging fruit. And, you know, it doesn't matter to me. If we go to a contest, we do well, we do that. I don't really have a lot of merit in it. Because I know this is the thing. And, you know, so you say, okay, well, why do we do this? Why do we go to marching contests? You subject yourselves to these clowns. You know, I mean, it's like Ray Charles and Helen Keller make a panel somewhere. And let's make them a judge. So, I mean, my strongest statement that I could say, without going into a lot, is they're stupid. And, I'm okay with it. Does it give our kids a positive venue to perform? Yes. Now, what does a positive venue mean? And I'll tell you, after doing enough performances in Melville, the crowd is quiet. That's gold. Because we will never have that here. We will never have a bunch of idiots doing stuff in the back, ever. So, we're going to go. And I will probably next year say the same things. Now, you guys may have friends that sit back and say, my so-and-so friend's marching band, their kids are in marching band, so-and-so, and they believe they are champion of the world because they came in first place at Sullivan. Good for you. I'm happy for you. You're champion of the world because of Sullivan. Very good. So, is that something I want to hang my hat on? No. I do enjoy the voyage. I do enjoy the struggle. I do enjoy the efforts that we have to make that improvement. That is a beautiful thing. Now, my wife was a little concerned on me. She always is. I'm like the child at home. We have one child. I'm like the second child. Because she was concerned that I was going to retire. She was concerned that I was going to retire because of the year of COVID, there were some things brewing. Like a lot of teachers knew. We had a mass herd of teachers retire from Melville. Y'all may not know. I mean, it's like 10, 15 teachers. That's crazy in a staff our size. They all knew the same things. They knew kids were going to be lazy. They knew kids did not want to come back to school. Kids were spoiled. Kids were using COVID as an excuse and manipulating their parents and manipulating the school and the people around them so they could get what they wanted. They wanted to stay home. They wanted to do nothing. She was concerned, and I said, well, we'll get back. We're going to find the band. We're going to find it. Wherever that band is, however many are there, we are going to find them. And we did. They showed up. I wasn't sure if they were going to show up. This is my 29th year at Melville. I taught 1 year in Texas, my 30th year teaching, my 29 years at Melville. Every ounce of my existence has been about improving everything that we can here. with a level of passion, a level of intensity that probably makes people angry at me sometimes. You have to understand something. I graduated from Melville in 1987. I don't work here as a job. I work here because I believe it's a calling. I believe I have been put here on this earth, hopefully, to do something, even if it's a microscopic, just a little bit, to do something, to make something better for somebody in some way. Because I was lost until I had this program. I was lost. I needed this program in my life. As I look back and reflect on it, oh my God, it was amazing for me. It changed my whole directory. It changed my whole insight. It changed my need to want to improve as a person, to function in an environment, to play the clarinet better, to academically improve. All those things, it did so many insurmountable things to me. It was amazing for me. So we teach here with a passion, not because I want to collect a paycheck. I teach it because I believe it will hopefully make a difference. Now, during COVID, you probably heard us on some of our meets. We were probably crazy. We singled kids out. Sometimes we never got to our work because it came, hey, so-and-so. It became, I was exhausted at the end of the day because I was giving my best stuff virtually. Because I wanted people to feel, even though we were in this situation where they were not important and were not touched, they mattered and they were a part. Now, there were some people we lost. I didn't do a good job. I didn't do a good enough job. There were some people we lost in this process. Because you may say, oh, well, the band was smaller than it was. Yes, you're right. The ones who stayed are the ones who should have stayed. And the ones who stayed are the ones who are going to make a difference. Because they were the ones who were willing to sacrifice. They were the ones willing to give of themselves, to let us push them, to let us yell at them, let us ask for one more, to deprive them of water until they do it better. Who does that? Who says, yeah, I'll give you some water if you can do it better. It's free. You brought it. You know, this is too important, folks. This is not just band to me. This is not just band. This is life. This is everything that you want, everything you desire. It's more important than I can tell you, and my portion of my speech can tell you. The mentality that walks these hallways in the building is sometimes not the best. But when you come into the band room, you will see that mentality change. You will see the winning mentality. You will see the mentality of people that want excellence and that want to pursue to be the best. When I was a very young teacher, this had a huge impact on my life. I got to see Dr. William Ravelli. He was the band director for the University of Michigan, a god in the world of band. And I heard him say this simple little phrase. And I heard it in some of their speeches tonight, and it makes me so happy. He said, don't y'all realize you're teaching kids first? They just happen to be doing music. That had such a positive, profound impact on me and has stayed with me my entire career, my entire life. And I want that for your kids. I want your kids to come into this room, feel special, be special. I want them to give of themselves, to work towards something, and not be the status quo. I told y'all what COVID did to kids. It's still happening. It's still happening. Not your kids. Your kids are going to make a difference. Mark my words, the kids in this program are bound for great things. They are bound for good things. If they give of themselves, do the lessons, do the work in here, it's going to be fun to watch. Thank you all very much. You have a great program to follow. And for all of you all who do everything,